Alrighty boys, welcome back to another step-by-step video. Now today's video is going to be on Tuberow. Now originally guys, I wanted to make a video showcasing like the best time burn operators where I'm going to do like Clash, Goyo, Smoke, and Tuberow was the idea, and Tachanka as well. But I didn't have enough smoke clips unfortunately, so what I decided to do instead of doing that is I'm just going to make a separate video for each one of them over the next couple of days, and then that way I can go ahead and still do, you know what I mean, that type of like concept with you guys if possible. But we're going to start today's video off with a Tuberow video here. I'm going to be showing you guys how to Tuberow trick to start this video. Basically the idea with this is that you need to make sure when you're tossing down your Tuberow freeze that it doesn't actually freeze a Cade Claw, because long story short, when you have a Cade Claw frozen, it's just not going to deny the wall at all. But if you don't freeze the Cade Claw will activate while there's ace charges or thermites on the wall, which will essentially prevent the wall from getting open. You're going to see another example here. The enemy team is going to go ahead and they're actually going to, I believe, EMP the wall here. It's the same concept as before. We're essentially waiting for the EMP to go out, and then we're going to go ahead and toss our Tuberow gadget above the reinforcement so it's not hitting the bandits. You got to make sure the freeze doesn't hit the active bandits or Cade Claws. And then long story short, you're waiting for the enemy team to burn through all of their EMPs. Once they burn through all their EMPs and they don't have any left and the bandits reactivate, then you can shoot your Tuberow gadget to go ahead and prevent the wall from actually getting open. Here's another really good example here. Now this is the same thing as the first clip here. However, this time instead of putting it on the ceiling, we're going to put the Tuberow freeze at the top, and then we're going to put the Cade Claw at the bottom right here. I'm calling over my teammate. He's going to go ahead and toss his gadget down, and basically all he has to do is just make sure it doesn't get frozen, and then once the Cade Claw activates fully, we can go ahead and just shoot out the Tuberow freeze. So you're going to see right there, it's activated. We're going to go ahead and actually walk away in this position, but I'm going to go ahead and walk back over to show you guys that the wall didn't get opened up. It's actually going to get electrocuted, and this is a really important trick to know about when you do play Tuberow. Before we get into the rest of this video, because this is probably the main reason why you would play Tuberow in the first place. The main reason people play Tuberow is to tube trick, which is essentially just bandit tricking a wall or making it impossible for an enemy team to get a wall if they don't have the necessary tools to actually get it open. So like the only way to counter Tuberow is going to be like Maverick, or maybe you have to get rid of the actual utility itself. So a lot of people would like Ash Charge below, that type of thing, or maybe they'll twitch from the utility out like that. There's a lot of different ways to deal with it, but if a team is unprepared, it's an easy way to basically secure it around outright, because there's nothing more time burn than actually just denying a wall outright, because then the enemy team has to shift their entire push, and when you shift your entire push, a lot of the times people are just gonna struggle to be able to come up with a push. That's why banning hard breachers this season is so powerful, because if you ban hard breachers right now, then that means the enemy team has to, you know what I mean, they have to switch up their push, you know what I mean. A lot of people aren't used to switching up their push in today's meta. Once you ban the hard breachers, they just don't know what to do anymore, and they start, you know what I mean, selling, basically. It's pretty much the same concept with Tuberow. Now, we are going to go ahead and get started into our video here, guys. We're going to be talking about Tuberow in today's video on his time burn ability. Like I said, though, the vast majority of the time when you are playing Tuberow, you're going to be using him to combo with Cade or Bandit. Now, in this example, my Cade unfortunately died. We did luckily get a Cade Claw on the Moto hatch here, so since my Cade Claw is on Moto hatch in this position, I'm going to go ahead and focus myself by Moto, because I need to make sure I'm paying attention to the enemy team EMPing the hatch, so that way I can Tuberow trick it. Luckily for me, somebody's going to walk down blue. I'm going to hear him, and I'm going to get myself a free kill as he goes ahead and walks down blue to try to eagle contest me. Like I said, guys, if the enemy team can't open up hatches, can't do the things that they're used to, a lot of the times they just malfunction, they don't really know what to do. Now, for the most part, at this point, since the enemy team has given up 2 bodies already, it's pretty unlikely that they're going to start going for the hatches this late into the round. If they do, I mean, it is what it is. But at this point, what I can actually do now is I can shift my attention now to using my 2-barrel freezes as being more of like time burn, if that makes sense. Because in moments like this, if you time burn an enemy team, a lot of the time it becomes very predictable to see what their plan is going to be for the round. And you're going to see here, since they don't have any way of getting the hatches open, what's going to actually happen is they're just going to try to flood, right? That's like pretty much their only option. Now what's going to happen here that I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and 2-barrel main. I'm going to 2-barrel blue. I'm just trying to make it difficult for them to basically do any type of push aggressively into me and try to make them have to flood last second. Now right here, there is going to be a blackbird for main. I'm going to 2-barrel freeze my rotate hole here. I'm going to lead them into this incendiary pipe, and then I'm going to shoot out the incendiary pipe to get myself a kill. As you guys know, if you shoot the incendiary device with like a person next to it, it explodes, and then that has like an AoE effect to it as well. So you can do a lot of damage very quickly, especially to like shield operators, to kill them very quickly. And right there, I used my 2-barrel freeze to basically guide him into it, so that way I can kill him on the moto door. And then as I did that, another guy tried to run in through blue. We got a free kill on him as well. Last guy in this position is main. He's going to try to swing aggressively because it's the only play that he realistically has in this position. We're going to go ahead and swing aggressively to kill him as he walks in and secure the round right there. Now this next round is going to kind of go back to what I was talking about earlier, where like I talked about how like Maverick is like a pretty good counter for 2-barrel, because long story short, when you use Maverick, especially on this map, it becomes really difficult to actually like trick a wall if your only option is to like toss the Cade Claw after the fact, if that makes sense. Like, you know how I did in the beginning of this video where I had my Cade run over and toss his Cade Claw? It becomes a lot more difficult to do that when Maverick puts walls actively into the wall. So what's going to end up happening this round is the enemy team is going to mostly go for a snowmobile push here, and they're going to essentially try to make a bunch of holes on the wall, so that way my Cade can't run over and put a Cade Claw on the wall. So what that means is that instead of using my 2-barrel gadget to try to help my Cade get the wall, I'm going to actually use it to essentially try to, how do I explain it? Time burn, basically, at that point. So what's going to end up happening here is I am ready to go for the 2-barrel gadget. This guy's going to go ahead and start mavericking. This makes it extremely difficult for me to actually go ahead and like freeze it at this point, because I have to go ahead and go right into these like awkward angles, which makes it really difficult. These guys also use their Maverick holes to actually make a line of sight onto the Cade Claw that was on the wall, so they're going to go ahead and get rid of it in that way. And then right here, like I said, there's not really anything that I can do or my Cade can do in this position to prevent the wall, so I'm going to go ahead and just let them have it and then start playing a time burn for the main wall in this position. And long story short, whenever the enemy team goes for like a snowmobile type of push, usually what they do is they huddle up on the rocks on the left side of the breach. And I actually heard them putting some smokes down on the wall in this position, so I knew there was going to be somebody watching out for a swing from the left side. And right here, I'm going to get audio that they go for like a plant right away, so I'm going to go ahead and nitro out here after I killed a glass that was looking for the cover. And then we're going to go ahead and nitro out for the default plant person. And now we're in a nice 4v3 position. I actually did get audio for another guy being inside of sight in this position. However, he's going to end up, I believe, just walking outside of the breach in response to this 2-barrel gadget. So I'm going to go ahead and just break my freeze because I accomplished my goal of slowing down the enemy team. Right here, I get a little bit too aggressive. I'm going to ego challenge this Cali. Luckily, I am going to go ahead and actually win this gunfight, putting us into a nice 4v2 position. And then there's going to be a play where the enemy team rotates to wine here, but I'm going to go ahead and swing aggressively for that as well to get refrags for my teammates that are just swinging aggressively for him and secure it around that way. Don't get me wrong, guys, if my teammates weren't swinging aggressively for this, there was a world where I used one of my 2-barrel freeze gadgets to just slow down the thermite on that wall, and then we could just basically just hold cross angles and it would pretty much be GG's on the spot. But since my teammates were swinging aggressively, it's better for me to just basically get ready for the refrag and basically overwhelm the thermite in that position, because it's basically a 3v1 at that point, since I'm swinging as my 2 other teammates are swinging him from the top portion of pillar, basically, or blue doorway basically is where they're swinging from. So if I swing from the other side, I'm just going to be overwhelming that thermite completely. He's either going to not have enough bullets to contest me, or I'm going to catch him completely off guard, because it's kind of that thing where it's like you can't look left and right, you know what I mean? So just overwhelming him is going to be the best play to make in that type of position. Now this next round is going to be on Consulate here. Now this one, it's another one of these maps where, yes, again, I'm playing Tubarão in response to one of my teammates playing Cade. Now, you could run the DMR on Cade, but since I'm a console player, I much prefer the SMG over the DMR. But if you're a PC, using the DMR is also a pretty valid option, so I'd highly recommend that as well because you're going to get more bang for your buck when it comes to taking gunfights. Now this round, the enemy team is going to go for vert here, so the only logical way to try to prevent the wall in this position is to try to kill the vert guys. I'm going to go ahead and kill one that was holding for flank here, and then we're going to go ahead and do this nice little trick where I freeze a Aurora gate for the flank, and then I'm going to go ahead and kill Aurora right there, putting us into a nice 4v1 position. There's a lot of little tricks that you can do with Aurora that I'd highly recommend learning. Because not only can you Tubarão trick, you can also use her as like time burn. You also have the option of doing little plays like that where you freeze gadgets that the enemy team have and then basically make plays. You can also do stuff like that to claymores as well. So there's a lot of like flexibility for Tubarão. So I think she's highly underrated right now. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's step-by-step video for Tubarão. Please make sure to like and subscribe. And if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to drop a comment down below to let me know.